What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to the Diablo Research Institution. So there's some information out now about Season 5, and I can't really find it online outside of what I just watched, where Blizzard live streamed their little fire chat thing. And I pretty much broke it down, and there's some really good things that are coming up for Season 5, and that might come even sooner for that matter, and perhaps for the expansion as well. But there's also a couple bad things, and one of which is a really, really bad thing. But I'll get into that in just a minute. But if you guys will like this damn video, subscribe to the page, and swat that bell so you're notified next time I post a video. So basically, there's some new unique items, which I know a lot of us are kind of into. Uniques kind of fell along the wayside, and apparently they're going to try to make them a bit more viable. They made note of how a lot of builds don't even use a unique, but ideally they'd want maybe 2 or 3 uniques or 2 to 4 uniques per build, which I think is a great blend. That's exactly what I was thinking just a couple weeks ago, putting some thought into this. You can't have the uniques be too good, and you can't just temper the uniques, because then we're just going to all be wearing the same damn uniques. The masterworking, or the tempering rather, and the customization comes really from the legendaries. With that being said, uniques really suck big you-know-what for the most part. So check this out. Here's some new uniques. And this one is for a Chain Lightning Sorcerer, which I tried to make, and I want to have a decent Chain Lightning Sorcerer, but where it stands, they just really suck. But basically, these pants are called Axial Conduit, where they give you some nice mods, and all the mods on the pants help out with the lightning, where you get damage reduction, you get resource generation, chance for chain lightning projectiles to cast twice, which is generally a temperament, and that's what they're doing with uniques now. They're going to drop with stats that would generally be a temperament that goes in accordance with the build that that unique is kind of made for. So we're not going to be able to temper uniques, but they're going to drop with those tempered stats already imprinted on them, so I think that's a great idea. The Chain Lightning casting twice thing, plus 2 to Chain Lightning, but here's the unique effect. Chain Lightning alternates between orbiting you and seeking up to 3 enemies. When it returns, it drains 6 mana from you for each active Chain Lightning. After draining 66 total mana, the bolt explodes for 23,000 lightning damage. So it's like a nova. There was a video on it where the Chain Lightning just keeps orbiting around the character and just zapping the shit out of monsters, and then it finally just blows up into like a lightning nova. So this is what I was talking about in my previous videos when I said that uniques, what they need to do is they need to sort of change the way that you play. They need to sort of change the build or change the skill. You know what I mean? They can't just make the numbers a little bigger like what the legendaries do. No, they have to sort of change the build. Like what we had in Diablo 2 with Enigma, for example, where all characters could teleport. Or Infinity, where your mercenary would then have a conviction aura, breaking immunities, and so forth. So it seems like they're going that direction with these uniques. Then there's a unique staff. Casting a core skill automatically fires 2 instances of Firebolt, Frostbolt, or Spark, matching the elements of your last 2 non-core skill attacks. Oh my god. These projectiles do 84% increased damage, so it's gonna sort of help with your basic skills, which like nobody uses. So this staff is gonna be awesome because they're gonna be casting basic skills. But then again, here's these unique shoes as well that is going to be probably applicable for many different builds. When you cast a skill with a cooldown, you explode, dealing 11,000 fire damage. So when you have like the Shout Barbarian or my Sorcerer here, for example, who has 1, 2, 3, 4 5 cooldown spells, she's just going to be exploding like crazy. But check this out. Here's some other interesting things. In fact, this is one of my favorite things that they added in this recent Season 5 update thing. Mythic uniques, and I said this in my previous video. People don't even know when the Uber uniques drop. You know, like I was fighting Duriel, and the first Uber unique I found just a couple days ago was Shaco. And I didn't even realize the damn thing fell. You know, like how many times has a Shaco or a Uber unique been sold to the merchants or just broken down in materials without the player even knowing? So it's just really dumb. You know, they should have had a signifier previous to Season 4 that showcases if it's a freaking Uber unique on the ground or not. But they've finally done that. So now it's a purple beam. and it has this epic noise when it hits the ground. I really like the noise. They showcased it in the video. So new color beam, new sound, and new user interface where it's like this purple background. And of course this Tyrael's Might in this example is buffed a little bit, but they're probably going to buff him a bit more. I don't know, we'll see. I wanted a Tyrael's Might for my sorcerer here, but instead I found a Shaco, and we'll see. Yeah, I don't know, it's not really the best for this build, but I've been messing around with it, and it's been a good time so far. But okay, so what else did they do? Here's a couple just points of interest of their sort of philosophy. Like I said, ideally they're going to want players to run about 2 to 4 uniques on their build, with the rest being legendaries as far as I see it. And they're going to move away from the generic fits-all builds style of uniques. So uniques are going to be more helping, centered around helping improving certain skills and builds and things like that, which is what I thought they should do, because that's kind of what they do in like Diablo 2, for example, where they'll help certain builds and certain skills. They're increasing the power level of uniques, so they're doing that. They're adding tempered stats to fall on the uniques already as they drop, so we're not going to have to worry about the whole temperament thing. And when it comes to tempers, they're actually going to add an additional temper per greater affix, I believe, so we're going to have a little bit more tempers. In my previous videos, I was saying how maybe they should have twice the tempers that they have right now, but they're also going to optimize it a bit. So I think they're going to make the tempered selections be a bit more RNG friendly, is what they were talking about. Basically, there's these boots as well that the legendary aspect can help a companion build. My problem with the druid is the companions really suck. Like your wolves, their damage is just horrible. They'll do a little bite, and it's just... when I first played Diablo 4 Season 1, I played the beta as well, but Season 1, I wanted to have a summon druid, and I wanted it to also have storm skills. I saw the Cataclysm, and it just looked so godly. But the problem is, it sucks. And the minions suck too. And the ravens, I love the concept, how they swoop down and attack and go away, and swoop down and attack and go away, but their damage just completely sucks. But nonetheless, these boots are going to help with companion damage. I don't think it's enough, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see how it goes. And then there's that Steel Grasp and Maelstrom. Is that how you say that? That epic-looking skill for the Barbarian. That just looks so cool in its performance, but it just really sucks. So nobody was using it. So fortunately, they're going to buff that. That's what I was hoping they'd do as well. Let's check out another tab here. More uniques to help buff certain builds. So the third blade, for example, your weapon mastery skills are now also core skills that have no cooldowns but cost fury, dealing 66% of normal damage, all this other crap. When consuming a corpse, there is a 28% chance to also create a decaying skeletal thing that seeks enemies but cannot attack. When it dies, it explodes for 5,000 shadow damage. So that was a really cool concept, because you're consuming corpses anyway, so the more you consume, these little skeleton guys come out of the corpse and they run and attack enemies and explode. It's kind of like what already exists with those gloves that help modify corpse explosion, where instead of just the corpse just exploding, it actually forms into a skeleton, and then it runs and blows up. This is kind of putting that together, where you can still use your other corpse skills on a corpse, but it also spawns a little skeleton guy that runs and explodes, so I think it's a cool concept. And then these other two uniques, nothing too interesting, but let's check out one more thing. So they're adding this new event. It's called Infernal hordes, and it's this place on the map where you go or something, you go down to a dungeon and you open up the Infernal hordes, and apparently there's like 8 tiers of it, and the 8th tier is equivalent to like pit level 150 or 200 or something like that. It's way up there. So what you do is you fight the Trav, or the Council, of like what it was in Diablo 2, only it's not as cool as an aesthetic. You're just in some big open area and there's just the Trav right there and you just fight them. So they're trying to hit on nostalgia a little bit, which, yeah, I think they kind of missed when it comes to that, because it's just some big, broad, open, lifeless area. But it's waves of enemies, so you kill one wave, and then another wave comes, and you kill the next wave, and then another wave comes. And what they have implemented in this area is, at the end of it, you get a couple options. Well, while you're fighting it, between waves, you can choose kind of what your next wave is going to be like. And as you progress through 6, 7, 8, 9, or up to 8 waves, I think is what it is, there ends up being a choice of a chest that you can open, one of which is full of gold, so it can help the gold problem, one of which is full of crafting materials. That also includes materials that you get from the pit, so I don't really know why they're doing this, because we're not going to really have a reason to do the other things. And then the other chest is going to have potentially unique items or legendaries. Now, I guess that's an okay idea, except that it concerns me that it's going to take away from needing to do the other things. Like, why are we not going to just 100% of the time do this event? Because here's the biggest problem. The damn chest in this Infernal Horde instance, there's going to be a chest there that drops items that always roll greater affixes. So it must have stemmed from just all the people bitching and saying how they just want the items with greater affixes. And, like, of course they want the items with greater affixes. You know, this is a treasure hunting game. The whole fucking point is to go around and find treasure. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, if you can't find all the treasure instinctively, what we do is we're like, well, give me the treasure. I can't find it. Give me more of the treasure. And what's happening is these devs are giving us the treasure now. The problem is, there's a few problems. It's a layered issue, but one of the problems is this is going to be the only area we're going to want to farm. Why would I want to farm anywhere else if I'm guaranteed to at least get a greater affix on my legendary if I farm this certain chest? You know what I mean? So we're just going to be farming that damn chest the whole time. And here's the other problem. What's going to happen next season? It's just going to cause escalation, because right now everybody who just wants the one greater affix are like, I just want one with the greater affix. What's going to happen next season is they're going to say, well, I want the ones with 2 greater affixes. You know, and then what's going to happen? They're not going to find them, and then they're going to keep complaining, and then other devs are going to be like, okay, so we have a chest now that always has the greater affixes on the items. And then they'll be happy for just a minute until they get all the items, then they'll quit playing. And then they'll say, well, I want the ones with 3 greater affixes, you know, and then the next season they're just going to have to give us all the items with the 3 greater affixes. It's just complete bullshit. The fact that they're implementing it in this way, I just think that's a really, really bad decision. Now, there's a big difference from what we as consumers or players want and what we need. You know what I mean? A lot of the gratification in these games, whether or not we know it, is from the pursuit. It's from the hunt. It's not from actually having all the shit. You know what I mean? Because once you have all the shit, it's just game over. So I didn't really see that in this patch. They're not talking about runes or super rare items. You know, it's just they're just going to give us all the shit. Is kind of the problem here. And when they do that, that ruins the damn game. This is a treasure hunting game. So in a treasure hunting game, it's important that there's always treasure out there that you can still potentially find. You know what I mean? So there should be tiers and tiers of more rare stuff. But the problem is, once they give you, or once you attain all the treasure, it's just game over. And it's just unbelievable that people are complaining about the greater affix ones. Like, they're saying, well, I can't find one with the greater affix. The greater affix isn't even that interesting. It just makes your numbers just a tiny bit higher. So if they're bitching about that, and they're just going to give us that now from the chest, it just seems like they're less and less likely to have these chase items that are actually game-changing, that are hard to find. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a problem. That they're going to have these chests that always drop greater affix items. This is just going to cause escalation. And it's fucked up, because the game's about finding treasure. You know what I mean? It's important that there's always treasure to find. And you could say, well, Iceman, I don't want to play this game because I'm not going to find all the treasure. But that's the point. You know what I mean? Like, you don't quit because you know you're just not going to find all the treasure. It's like being a real-life treasure hunter. Like, if you want to go and explore the oceans or something, and somebody tells you, well, hold up, why are you going to go explore the oceans? You're never going to find all the treasure that's down in there. You're not going to be like, okay, you're right, I'm never going to find all the treasure, I'm just going to quit, I'm not going to go treasure hunting. You're going to be like, oh, damn. Really? There's that much treasure in there? Like, it's just going to be fuel for the course. It's going to be emboldening. And to be like, okay, well, there must be a lot of treasure. I'm going to start digging. And yeah, I'll probably never find it all, but there's always going to be something new to find. You know what I mean? It emboldens your chase. If you just find all the fucking treasure, it's game over. But I don't know. It sucks that they're going this direction. Because there needs to be some of those chase items, and hopefully when Path of Exile 2 comes out, they're gonna cause some incentive for Blizzard to not be afraid to have chase items still. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be afraid to hold some things back and be like, no, these are going to be really rare. All right, you're not all going to get one. You know, then they're going to be like, no, give me, me. I want it. The kids are going to be doing that, but then Blizzard, they need to hold their ground and be like, no, you're not going to get them. You're most likely not going to get them. Like, you're going to get all these items. We're making a bunch of cool things, all sorts of cool items. See, the thing is, the loot pool, ideally, in a game like this, should be limitless, all right? There should just be tiers and tiers and tiers of rarity. So, yeah, you're never going to find it all, but you're going to, because the more tiers of rarity there are, the more variation it's going to stimulate. Because then you might accidentally find one that's way up here. And then all of a sudden you're showing off this cool new skill that you're doing that nobody else can do. They're like, holy shit, how'd you do that? You're like, well, it's RNG, I just found the damn thing. You'd be like, oh, you're probably not going to be able to find it, but they're going to be able to, look what I found. I found this one, and they found one that was like up here that you didn't find, but you found the one that was way up here. You know what I mean? Ideally, that's how it needs to be, but we're just totally pulling away from all that, and they're just like, fuck it, just have it all. And that's why it's just shocking to me how what's being complained about are like, I want the one with the greater ethics. Like, the greater ethics isn't even that game-changing. You know, just makes your numbers just a little higher. It's just unbelievable that's what they're bitching about, and now Blizzard's giving it to them. But comment below your thoughts on these matters and like this video if you will. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace be with you.